In the pre-dawn darkness of January 8, 2020, the world watched as the simmering tension between Iran and the United States reached its most perilous flashpoint in years. Only days earlier, news broke of the U.S. drone strike near Baghdad International Airport, killing Iranian Major General Qasem Soleimani, commander of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps' elite Quds Force. The strike sent a jolt through the region, striking at the very heart of Iran's military command and promising significant retaliation. Now, a response was imminent. In Tehran, Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei's advisors met deep into the night, weighing their options. Public outrage pulsed through Iranian streets. Banners of Soleimani fluttering beneath the winter winds, thousands calling for a decisive answer. The world braced. Intelligence briefings in Western capitals buzzed with possibilities. Cyber attacks, targeting commercial shipping, Hormuz Firda, direct strike on American military assets in the region. Hours passed. Then, with measured resolve, Iran's decision crystallized. The target would be Ain al-Assad Air Base, a sprawling facility in Iraq's Anbar province, an Erbil air base in Iraqi Kurdistan, both used extensively by U.S. and coalition forces. The message was unambiguous. Iran would confront the United States directly, yet aim to avoid civilian casualties and an all-out war. Shortly after 1:30 a.m. local time, Iranian Revolutionary Guard began launching volleys of ballistic missiles. From hidden silos and mobile platforms deep within western Iran, a total of 16 missiles streaked across the night sky. Satellite feeds, radar systems, and military command centers across the region sprang to alert. Though the air defenses crisscrossed in readiness, these were not cruise missiles. Their parabola and speed gave little warning. Inside Ain al-Assad, the warning klaxons sounded just minutes before impact. American and coalition personnel, already on high alert, took shelter in hardened bunkers, anxious, uncertain. Some knelt in prayer. Others checked weaponry, eyes darting to the doors. The base fell into tense silence, punctuated only by whispered communications and distant thuds as missiles struck their designated targets. The first impacts were felt in the western sector. Hangars, barracks, and airfield facilities took the brunt. The blasts ripped through concrete and steel, throwing up fireballs that turned night into day. Tremors convulsed the ground, and shrapnel pinged off armored doors. In the resulting haze, fuel depots erupted, and secondary explosions followed. Meanwhile, in Erbil, sirens pierced the stillness as 2 more missiles struck near the perimeter. Despite the intensity of the barrage, U.S. and coalition personnel remained in protected shelters. Later analysis would reveal that drones and satellite feeds relayed the incoming launches, allowing precious minutes for base-wide evacuation procedures. This advance warning most likely spared lives. As the barrage subsided after nearly an hour, the extent of the damage became clear. Dozens of structures suffered significant destruction. Choppers smoldered in burnt-out hangars. Housing units lay battered and cratered. But remarkably, there were no immediate fatalities among U.S. or Allied soldiers. Some 200 troops would later be diagnosed with traumatic brain injuries, harrowing evidence of the blasts. But the loss of life had been narrowly averted. Even as daylight broke over the shattered runways and blackened earth of the bases, the world's attention shifted to the diplomatic front lines. Iran's Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif declared the operation measured, proportionate, and complete, describing it as legitimate self-defense under Article 51 of the United Nations Charter. Tehran made clear to both allies and adversaries, if the U.S. refrained from further military action, Iran would consider the matter closed. In Washington, President Trump took to the podium. The address was careful, deliberate. He cited the absence of American casualties as proof of both U.S. military strength and Iran's restraint. As long as I am President of the United States, he stated, Iran will never be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. Yet he signaled a willingness to de-escalate, emphasizing sanctions over further military escalation. Across the Middle East, regional capitals nervously assessed the consequences. American allies feared that the precedent of a direct state-on-state missile strike imperiled the status quo. In Iraq, calls to expel foreign troops amplified. Meanwhile, Tehran's calculated restraint, showing strength but avoiding mass American casualties, served a dual purpose: satisfying domestic calls for vengeance without triggering total war. In the days that followed, satellites captured the scarred landscapes of Ain al-Assad and Erbil, tangible reminders of just how close the US and Iran had edged to the abyss. Troops began repairs, filling craters and rebuilding shattered facilities under tightened security. For many on both sides, it was a sobering reminder of the volatility that continues to define the Persian Gulf. The strike's echo lingered far beyond the missile impacts and diplomatic channels. In shifting military postures and in the minds of soldiers who survived the barrage, as the dust settled, the world exhaled a brief pause in a dangerous game where the stakes remain, as ever, impossibly high.